66 million years ago, a 12-kilometer-wide asteroid slammed into Earth, giving rise to a well-known mass extinction event that wiped out the dinosaurs. But when people discuss the extinction of the dinosaurs, they often forget one crucial thing. They were already going extinct before the asteroids arrived, and at first glance, it seems like the asteroid was just the nail in the coffin for these magnificent creatures. However, we now have shocking new evidence that reveals how dire the situation really was for our favorite dinosaurs. So stay tuned, because today we're answering the question, did climate change really kill the dinosaurs? The evidence is shocking. Welcome to Dinosaur Planet. If you're not already subscribed, hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our awesome videos about the amazing history of life on Earth. In the early Cretaceous period, Earth's climate began to warm, leading to rising sea levels and lush vegetation. At first, this seems pretty idyllic, but it wasn't great news for all species alive at the time. The increase in temperature led to more water evaporating from Earth's surface, which then caused more rain in some areas and more drought in others. This created an inhospitable environment for many plants and animals. While some species were able to adapt and thrive in these changing conditions, others didn't fare so well. For example, during this time period, flowering plants started to become dominant on land, while marine animals like plankton and the ancestors of whales faced challenges due to changing ocean temperatures and currents. In fact, evidence of coral reef decline has been found dating back as far as 145 million years ago. And that's right around the time when the Cretaceous period started. But what does any of this have to do with the dinosaurs? Well, the same warming trend that impacted other species also affected them too. It's true that for some species, warmer temperatures meant a larger habitat range. But for others, including some of the iconic sauropods, things got much, much worse. For instance, between 170 million years ago, the western interior of North America was covered by a vast inland sea known as the Western Interior Seaway. This massive body of water stretched from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to the Arctic Ocean, creating a continuous marine environment that supported diverse ecosystems along its shores. However, during the late Cretaceous period, the Rocky Mountains began to rise, blocking the flow of the Gulf Stream, a significant current that carried warm water from the Gulf of Mexico northward. As the Rockies ascended, they disrupted the established weather patterns, leading to cooler temperatures in the Pacific Northwest. This shift in climate had profound implications for the flora and fauna of the region, significantly impacting the habitats and resources available to local species. One of the most notable victims of this ecological upheaval was the genus of sauropod dinosaur known as Camarasaurus. This herbivorous giant, related to the famous Apatosaurus, lived in what is now the western United States during the late Cretaceous period. Fossils of Camarasaurus have been discovered in a geological formation called the Lance Creek Beds, located in the deserts of Wyoming's Red Desert. These fossil deposits provide a unique window into the ecosystem and environment in which these dinosaurs lived around 80 million years ago. Analysis of the fossilized plant matter found in their digestive tracts shows that these gentle giants primarily consumed the leaves of gymnosperms, such as cycads and conifers. These plants, which dominated the landscape during that era, could not only withstand the drier conditions brought on by the changing climate, but also thrived in them. But there was a problem. See, this diet didn't agree with their gut bacteria. Normally, the gut bacteria of plant-eating dinosaurs would break down cellulose, a tough carbohydrate found in the cell walls of plants, allowing them to extract nutrients. However, in dry environments, the gut bacteria present in Camarasaurus were not equipped to handle the fibrous material that made up their diet. This resulted in a buildup of undigested plant matter in their guts, leading to discomfort and illness. It was almost as if these dinosaurs were lactose intolerant. But instead of milk, they were reacting badly to the tough fibers in their food. Even worse, the nutritional content of the plants themselves decreased as the climate became drier. And as a result, Camarasaurus became trapped in a vicious cycle. Their gut bacteria were ill-suited to the fibrous plants that made up their diet, which were in turn becoming less nutritious. Not only that, but as the climate shifted, their habitat shrunk drastically. With their food supply dwindling, the once mighty Camarasaurus and other sauropod dinosaurs retreated to a small area in the Gulf of Mexico. But as temperatures continued to rise, this haven too became uninhabitable. Some individuals tried to adapt, but their bodies simply couldn't keep up with the rapid changes. In the end, there was nowhere left for them to go. The sad tale of the sauropod dinosaurs is just one example of how climate change impacted life on Earth in the Lacustrine period. Other animal groups, such as turtles and marine reptiles, were also affected by the shifting climate and struggled to survive. Birds and mammals also experienced significant declines, with certain groups vanishing entirely from the fossil record during this time. All told, around 75% of species on Earth went extinct at the end of the Cretaceous. But while the mass extinction at the end of the Cretaceous is often attributed solely to the Chicxulub impact event, the available evidence paints a more complex picture. The impact certainly dealt a devastating blow to the biosphere, but it didn't occur in a vacuum. Instead, it happened at a time when life on Earth was already reeling from the effects of a rapidly changing climate. The end of the Cretaceous was a time of dramatic shifts and changes, and the dinosaurs, along with many other species, paid the ultimate price. But this isn't just ancient history. We're still dealing with the consequences of climate change today. Humans are burning through fossil fuels at an unprecedented rate, emitting billions of tons of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere each year. As a result, our planet's average temperature is now about 1 degree higher than it was in 1900, and we're on track to exceed that number by 3 degrees by the end of the century if we continue on our current trajectory. And what's really scary is that we're already seeing the effects of this warming world. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and disruptions to delicate ecosystems are just a few of the challenges we're facing right now. But the good news is that we have the power to change course. By reducing our carbon footprint and investing in renewable energy sources, we can slow down the global temperature increase and protect our planet for future generations. The key is to learn from the past and take action before it's too late. It's clear from the story of the dinosaurs that even gradual changes in climate can have catastrophic consequences, but it's also evident that life always finds a way to adapt and persevere. We can apply these lessons to our own lives and work together to create a sustainable future for ourselves and the planet we call home. One of the biggest problems facing us today is that despite knowing the risks of burning fossil fuels, we just keep doing it. A major reason for this is that the cost of extracting fossil fuels is constantly dropping. For instance, since 2010, the cost of onshore wind energy has declined by 69%, and over the same period, the cost of solar photovoltaic panels has dropped by a whopping 89%. Meanwhile, the cost of extracting oil from tar sands has fallen by 31%. The cost of extracting coal has fallen by 26%. And the cost of natural gas has dropped by 22%. That means that fossil fuels are getting cheaper relative to renewables. And this trend has real-world consequences. Since 2010, the global community has added 140 billion barrels of oil equivalent to known fossil fuel reserves, but only 15 billion barrels equivalent of oil to known unconventional oil sands reserves. In other words, we've decided to lock in more fossil fuel production than renewable energy sources. This is unsustainable and dangerous. We need to find a way to reverse this trend and make clean energy the cheapest option. Otherwise, we'll continue to see more frequent and severe climate-related disasters, threatening the very fabric of our society. It's a sobering thought, but it's also a call to action. We must invest in green technologies, reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, and hold those who profit from the status quo accountable. Our planet's future, after all, depends on it. And thank you for coming along on this journey through time. What do you think? Did climate change kill the dinosaurs, or did the asteroid deal the final blow? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to Dinosaur Planet. Until next time.